Happy Wednesday, everyone. So this week's book of the week is a fantastic book, a great one by a veteran. And I know we're a week out from Veterans Day, but I believe that you should find every day that you can to celebrate veterans, thank them for their service, because we have to understand that these are people who sign up to get paid very little money, put their lives at risk, and whether our country asks them to go plant flowers or go overseas to go to war or be on the front lines due to COVID, they do it. And so I want to do this in honor of all the veterans that I'm friends with, and more importantly, give you, the audience, a fantastic book that's going to help you. Now, the book of the week is Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, and I recommend this in audio format. The book is actually narrated by a guy named Adam Skolnick, but at the end of every chapter, Adam Skolnick and David Goggins have a kind of like an interview, like a podcast. And so there's a lot of material that you don't get in the book, the physical book, but you do get in the audio version. And I think, again, with most autobiographies and books of this nature, they're much better when you listen to them. Now, David Goggins is considered the toughest man on the planet, at least alive today, and for very good reasons. Aside from the fact that he is a U.S. Navy SEAL, graduated from Ranger School, went through U.S. Navy SEAL training, BUDS, 3 times until he finally got through, did it while having sickle cell anemia, and among many, many other things, he's a pretty tough guy. One thing you'll learn in the book is his incredibly jarring past. He grew up with a very poor, bad and abusive father. He grew up in an incredibly racist town, and all the odds are stacked against him. And so what this book focuses on is how to, in his words, callus the mind and really develop that mindset that gets you through anything. Because at the end of the day, as I mentioned in many of my book reviews, all the problems to the world that are around you, the solutions are all in your head.
Brain is the most powerful weapon in the world. Once you put away your phones and your computers and all that shit we have nowadays, yeah, that's great. We're up to date. But your brain is the only thing you have when you're going through depression, when you're going through hard times, when you're going through death, real life shit. You can't Google that shit, man. You're alone. You're alone. You may have a shrink you're going to, you may have a best friend you're going to, but there's 24 hours in the day where you're alone in this brain. And your brain is talking to you in all kind of ways. And it wants to control you and pull you in these different pockets. If you can't control your own brain and your brain controls you, you're fucked. You got to tell your brain where you want to go and how you want to go and how you want to get there. You got to control it. If not, it's over.
Now, through all these trials and tribulations, what David really talks about in terms of the mindset is how to callous the mind, which is finding ways to look for pain and discomfort and enjoying it, right? Because his thing is that the more comfortable you get, the more you double down only on your strengths and you shy away from adversity, you're slowly killing yourself. As the old saying goes, comfort is a slow death, seek pain. He really focuses on this not only in terms of what he did during Navy SEAL training, but also in his life and all the hardships he faced. He found a way to discipline himself and, more importantly, enjoy and embrace the discomfort, because that's what life is all about. Now, when it comes to adopting a mindset like this, human beings really change their behavior through stories, through habits, right? And through study. And so by listening to this audiobook, you're going to study his story, and that, in a sense, will help you adopt some of these habits to start changing yourself. And some of these habits had an impact on me. One of the things that really influenced me, and it's a silly one, is when I would wake up in the morning, or especially when I go to work out, I always had to have some music on to get me pumped up, right, and motivated to do something. And Goggins does not work out with any music. And his thing is, if you need music to motivate you, what's going to happen when you don't have any music and when the music stops? And so this concept of how do you discipline yourself to accept the difficult parts of life? How do you motivate yourself on your own? And there's a few key items, and there are a few key takeaways that I want to share with you, 3 specifically that I really enjoyed from the book, and I know that you will as well. So the first thing that Goggins talks about is the accountability mirror. Essentially, he would set goals, big goals for himself, whether it's getting through BUDS, losing weight, developing a stronger mindset, and every day he would look in the mirror and ask himself, have you been accountable to yourself? Have you been accountable to your goals? And again, the big thing about these types of books is that they're not trying to get you motivated about being motivated. They're trying to get you motivated about discipline, right? So look for that way to every morning. Use your mirror, and you can develop an accountability mirror within yourself to say, have I stayed accountable to myself about the goals that I set? Have I delivered on the promises I kept? Because if you can't keep promises to yourself, what makes you think you can keep those kind of promises to your spouse, to your employer, to your employees, to your friends and family, right? It all starts with you. The next one is the 40% rule. David really believes, and I believe it as well, that the human mind has so much potential that we're not even aware of. That's you, that's me, that's all of us. But we often give up because we listen to our brain. Right when it starts to get hard, it's like, oh, you should stop, you should take it easy and everything. And his thing is that many times people are literally living only to 40% of their true potential, their true capacity. But if you're able to tolerate pain, and again, callous the mind, be the driver of what you should do and not your brain, then you push past that 40% and really get higher and higher in terms of elevating your mind and going to the next level. This is how top performers, whether it's in the business world, athletic world, or anything else, elevate, is because they're disciplined about being the authority in their mind. They're not the bitch of their brain, as Tony Robbins likes to put it. And that leads me to the last point that I got from the book, which is the governor. David Goggins talks about this idea of a governor in your brain that governs what you should do and says, it's getting a little uncomfortable or maybe you'll fail. And essentially it prevents you from really meeting your maximum potential. And I think, in my opinion, a great companion with this, because I love David's book, but I think the one that really dives into this, and again, funny enough, it's by a Marine, is The War of Art by Steve Pressfield, where he talks about the resistance. So whether you call it resistance or governor, the great thing is that within us, every single one of us, is this concept, this thing that prevents us from doing our best work, that makes us feel bad, that makes us feel ashamed, that keeps us from reaching our full potential. And I think that when you start to manage and own that governor, the resistance, whatever you like to call it, then you're able to move it aside and really reach your full potential and push yourself to take the risks, believe in yourself, and more importantly, hold yourself accountable. Because if you don't, you'll find a variety of excuses to get yourself into, and pretty much not stay accountable to yourself. So that's the book of the week. I highly recommend you download it. Make sure, again, with our veterans, don't wait for Veterans Day to say thank you. Find every way possible every day to say thank you to them. Because again, they're doing what they're being asked to do by their country, and they're doing it for very little for a very long time. And I'm going to leave you with this fantastic clip of David Goggins talking about how to not feed your mind negative thoughts and energy. So, with that said, happy Wisdom Wednesday. As always, I'll see you next week, and bye for now. Stay safe out there.
So I've been grinding lately. Had to go back to the fucking lab, readjust some shit in my brain, put a lot of miles in. Every day, run over 20 miles a day, getting up early, going to bed early, eating the right shit. This last week, it started taking a toll on me. I usually don't think too much. Get my shoes on, head the fuck out. I've been thinking a lot. That internal voice has been talking to me. Talking about, oh man, you're tired. Looking at my shoes about 30 minutes before I put the motherfuckers on. Pushing back the time of that I go out to go run. So I decided to tape record myself. That internal voice I put on tape. Sounds like a straight bitch when I listen to that motherfucker. So if you ever have a hard time out there, tape yourself. Listen to what kind of bitch you're being. Stay hard.